Hello. Over the next few weeks, I'll be explaining how the way you breathe has a huge impact on how well you feel, how energetic you are, and how anxious or relaxed you become. Welcome to Workshop 3, in which you'll learn all about deep body breathing, the most effective and efficient way of taking and expelling the air on which life depends. As this workshop involves some practical work, I would like you to wear loose-fitting clothes and to remove your shoes. A tracksuit is ideal, but any form of clothing that ensures you can move freely and easily will work equally well. We'll start with a simple experiment. I'd like you to stand up and take and then release a deep breath. How do you get on? If you breathe like the vast majority of people, you will probably have observed some or all of the following. It will have required a deliberate effort to take this breath, and once completed, you will quickly return to a more normal pattern of breath. You will have pulled your stomach strongly inwards while simultaneously thrusting your chest and spine forward. The air will have been drawn into your body via a long, hard sniff that causes your nostrils to draw together instead of remaining relaxed and flared. Your shoulders will have risen and fallen vertically rather than moving laterally in and out. Not too sure what happened in your case? Then, without making any changes to the way you inhale, repeat the exercise and notice how many of those points holds true. If they do, then, again like a majority of people, your breathing is what I term upside down. But don't let that alarm you. The fact is that 7 out of 10 of us spend most, if not all, our adult lives using this type of inverted breathing. To understand exactly what upside down breathing involves, let's perform a simple experiment again. Here's how to go about it. Find a firm but giving surface, such as a carpeted floor or a thick towel, on which you can lie down comfortably. Place one hand on your chest near the top of your breastbone and the other on your stomach slightly above the navel. Without changing your normal pattern of breathing in any way, notice which hand rises the most when you're breathing. Does one hand rise before the other, or do both seem to rise and fall together? Do you feel the greatest movement in your hand on the chest or in the hand on the stomach? If your lower stomach hand moves more than your upper chest hand, then you are using deep body breathing, which is also known as abdominal or diaphragmatic breathing. If, as typically happens, your upper hand moves most, then you are using what I have termed upside down breathing or costal breathing. Now, how do you get on? If you found that you are already using deep body breathing, that's very good news. The procedures taught in the remainder of this home training program will help you strengthen that healthy pattern of breathing while enhancing your understanding of the breath-mind relationship. If, however, you discovered that your chest rose more than your stomach, then you are breathing, as I said before, upside down. Now, there's absolutely no need to worry about this. But to understand what's happening, let's take a few moments to explore the mechanisms by which we breathe. So sit or lie down with your arms resting by your sides and your feet about shoulder width apart. You might feel more comfortable if you were to support your neck and head on a pillow. Now start by becoming aware of your rib cage. Bring your hands up so that you can feel your collarbones or clavicles. Run your fingers along these bones to the point where they attach to your breastbone or sternum. Now gently explore the area around the junction of the collarbones and the sternum. The bone you can feel directly beneath the collarbone is your second rib. The first is tucked away underneath the collarbone. Trace your fingers along this rib, starting at the shoulders and moving inward toward the sternum, noting how it becomes increasingly prominent towards the point where it attaches to your sternum. Notice too how firm and unyielding this attachment feels. Placing your fingers on the point at which the second rib attaches to your sternum, inhale deeply and note the slight movement. This shows that although a robust and solid protective structure, your rib cage still has considerable flexibility. Take several more deep breaths and become aware of the way in which the rib cage expands with each inhalation and then falls back again as you exhale. Slowly run your fingers down the breastbone and notice the way each of your ribs is attached to it. As your fingers move down your chest, you will notice that the ribs become closer and closer together. At the far end of the breastbone, you'll be able to feel a small prominence called the xiphoid process. This may well be very sensitive to the touch because it's attached to the diaphragm. Follow the outer boundaries of your rib cage with your fingers, noting how the lowest ribs extend right the way around your waist. Now, let's look at this in more detail on a model of the body. As you can see, the lungs themselves are divided into lobes, 3 on the right and 2 on the left, leaving space for the heart. Immediately below the lungs is a broad band of muscle which divides the body into 2 compartments, with the upper portion containing the lungs and heart, and the lower portion the digestive organs. It is this broad band of muscle that you use during deep body or diaphragmatic breathing. When you pull it downwards and outwards, you increase the capacity of the chest, causing air to be drawn inwards on each inhaled breath. Then, by relaxing the diaphragm, the air is expelled out again as you exhale. Our lungs are, of course, where oxygen is drawn into the body and carbon dioxide is expelled. The lowest lobes of our lungs have the greatest supply of blood vessels. This enables them to perform the task of exchanging the gases, oxygen in and carbon dioxide out, in the most efficient manner. This is why breathing deeply and slowly, deep body breathing, is by far and away the most effective way of exchanging gases, of taking oxygen in and getting rid of carbon dioxide. It is far more efficient than the shallow costal breathing, what I termed upside down breathing, because this involves the upper portions of the lungs which have less blood flow. Rather than performing the next set of exercises purely mechanically, try and create a mental picture of what's going on inside your body. Since deep body breathing is most easily learnt when lying down, that's how we will start. Later, when you become proficient, it will be necessary to learn ways of incorporating the same pattern of breath into your everyday life. Now, start by lying on your back with your hands at your sides. Flex your legs at the knees to approximately 45 degrees and place your feet a comfortable distance apart. Try and find a position that allows your body to feel relaxed and balanced. If at any time your legs become tired through holding them in this position, simply stretch them out for a moment or two before resuming your initial position. Now, arch the small of your back and then flatten it against the floor beneath you. It's important that this movement is smooth and flowing. Become aware of the sensations involved as you arch and flatten the small of your back. Repeat this procedure for approximately 1 minute. Inhale slowly and deeply, arching the small of your back as you do so. Exhale deeply and slowly, at the same time flattening the small of your back. Let's go through that one more time. Breathe in and fill your lungs as you arch the small of your back. Now breathe out, emptying your lungs as you flatten the small of your back against the floor. Make sure all your movements are slow and fluid. They should never involve any great movement, only an inch or so of arching and flattening the small of your back. As you inhale, repeat slowly and silently, I know that I am breathing in. And as you exhale, say, I know that I am breathing out. And this will help you recognize your in-breath as an in-breath and your out-breath as an out-breath. You don't even need to recite the whole sentence. You can, if you prefer, simply repeat in and out. At the same time, use the mental images you created of your breathing muscles to follow the course of the air past your nostrils. Notice how cool the incoming air feels compared to the expelled breath, and down into your lungs. Visualize the air flowing deep into the lower lobes of each lung as your diaphragm is drawn smoothly downwards and outwards, while your chest expands gently upwards and outwards. This visual imagery, combined with the simple verbal instructions, will make it far easier for you to keep your mind focused on breathing. By practicing for between 2 and 5 minutes a day, you should rapidly find that as your breathing becomes more peaceful and gentle, your whole outlook will grow calmer and become more and more relaxed. After practicing deep body breathing in this way for a week to 10 days, you're ready to transfer your newly found skills into the real world. This is, of course, essential if you're to rid yourself of the negative consequences of inefficient upside-down breathing. If you've been an upside-down breather for many years, this will have become such a habit that it will probably seem a normal and natural way to take your breaths. This means that making any substantial changes, no matter how beneficial and life-enhancing they will prove, will require commitment and persistence. Here's a simple practical way to approach this challenge. You simply write down some trigger activities on a piece of card and carry this with you. You should start by identifying some activities that will remind you to spend a few moments focusing on your breathing, identifying the way you're breathing, and, if necessary, switching from shallow upside-down breathing to deep body breathing. Typical memory jogging activities might be while waiting to catch my bus to work, when I take a morning coffee break, after making a telephone call, as I sit down to lunch, when I start watching TV. Each time you reach a trigger activity, pause for a moment, notice how you're taking and releasing each breath, and, if necessary, make changes. Concentrate on slowing and deepening your breathing so as to perform deep body breathing easily and naturally. After the first week, introduce a few more additional memory joggers, triggers which will remind you to focus on your breathing and, if necessary, make changes in the way you're breathing. Continue to do so until you have developed a normal pattern of deep body breathing which continues throughout your waking day. Although, for the reasons I've explained, upside down or costal breathing is inappropriate for most of our daily activities, especially when we want to feel calm and relaxed, it comes into its own during periods of exertion, since it allows gas exchange in the lungs to occur more rapidly. If you have to expend a great deal of physical effort, such as when playing a sport, running for a train, or even walking briskly, your body will correctly switch to costal breathing. In this way, the muscles and the brain receive the additional oxygen required to metabolize the fuel needed to meet rapid but short-lived increases in energy demand. Once you've established good core stability and made deep body breathing a natural and normal part of your everyday life, you will be in an excellent position to master the procedures taught in the workshops that follow. These are designed to be used in specific situations ranging from controlling stress and banishing fatigue to improving concentration and removing blocks to personal development and progress. In Workshop 4, we will be exploring the first of the techniques when I show you how to stay cool, calm and collected, even in potentially anxiety-arousing situations, by means of relaxation and sensualization.